1v1 on Kholodny Ferma, Miragefla versus After Effect. Miragefla playing as the US and After Effect playing as Oster. Miragefla is quite a good player, although I think he's more of an Axis player, at least in the few games I've played against him. He's definitely really good, and After Effect I have not encountered before, so we'll see what he brings to the table, and hopefully this should be a good game. Grenadier start from After Effect, and Miragefla going with Rifleman start, sending his rear echelon troops to the strategic point immediately outside the base, and then working his way south. After Effect, on the other hand, looks like he's going straight for the fuel, with Grenadiers following up to help out with that. Double Grenadiers coming out, double Riflemen also coming out. Things on Kholodny Ferma tend to not have any engagements particularly quickly, as the map sort of encourages both sides to go in opposite directions at the start of the game for maximum resource income, so fighting doesn't really break out until a couple minutes in. If we take a look at commanders, we have mechanized, close air support, and mobile defense, and over here from Miragefla we have standard US commanders, airborne, infantry, and armor. No commander choices from either player yet, so they are going to hold on and see what their opponent is doing before picking anything just yet. After Effect moving somewhat towards the center / north with his Grenadiers. Pioneers going very far north with the back capping. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops and riflemen continuing to work on the south. And it looks like the first engagement will be this squad of Grenadiers versus a squad of riflemen. This road will contribute to that as well. Riflemen are going to swing around here to capture this while the Grenadiers are working on this. No infantry coming up here through the center, so the Riflemen will probably actually be able to take up a position on this tank, giving them a small advantage due to the way that's sort of laid out and the range. Two squads moving up over here as well. We do actually see Grenadiers circling around the church. Riflemen also moving up towards the north, and he may actually be able to head off those Pioneers with just a lone squad of Riflemen if all of... But we'll see what happens there. And Riflemen do encounter some Grenadiers over here. Two squads moving up towards the center. They're not moving to support those, so that squad of Riflemen will get pushed back by those two squads of Grenadiers. Unfortunately, these Pioneers have gotten way too close to this Rifleman squad, and that's going to be forced to retreat. If he doesn't retreat soon, he might risk losing that Pioneer squad, and it looks like he's not going to notice, and the Pioneer squad does go down, so that's not good. However, those Riflemen are taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Grenadiers getting pushed by two squads up here, though. I'm not sure that squad's going to make it away. No, they don't. So, After Effect did lose a squad of Pioneers, but he did also take out a Rifleman squad in turn. Meanwhile, it looks like this Grenadier squad really needs support, but these two Grenadiers are continuing to keep the Allied resources cut off by just holding up on this point, despite all of the pressure in the middle. He does manage to escape. Meanwhile, rear echelon troops are moving up to north to harass that cutoff. So it looks like a lot of resources will be cut off, and it actually is going to come down to who can hold the center victory point, as that will negate the effects of both of these cutoffs. But nobody holds the victory point, so both sides are cut off right now. Grenadiers finally are overwhelmed by a huge force of riflemen, and they will get pushed away. But After Effect will be able to take the central victory point with this machine gun, possibly also heading off this three squads of riflemen. He's actually not pushing towards the center victory point, but we do see that the cutoff is going to be retaken by the Allies, central victory point retaken by the Axis, so neither player will be cut off for resources any further, except of course that these rear echelon troops are going for the fuel directly now at this point. Machine gun firing on Riflemen in the house. It's going to be firing quite sharply to its left side, and these Riflemen are now pushing up on the right. It may, if it's forced to reload, it may not notice these Riflemen in time. Looks like Miragefla is not charging though. Maybe waiting for a reload. Not sure what his plan is there. Riflemen heavily wounded. They'll be forced back by those Grenadiers for sure. Rear echelon troops also will be forced away. It looks like we do see a medic bunker going up in the base. And we also see Miragefla has gone with a lieutenant, so we're probably going to be seeing a light vehicle very soon. Yes, the utility car is cooking. Riflemen are taking too much damage, and they are forced out of the church. The combined efforts of a machine gun and a grenadier squad. More grenadiers moving towards the north. Mirage has quite good map control and harassment at this point. No attempt by After Effects just yet to retake the south, but we may see some grenadiers heading down there soon. Although, rather than harass points directly, he does seem to enjoy going immediately for the cutoff, which is definitely an option on this map. Riflemen take a pretty... Oh wait, no, they didn't. Oh, the Lieutenant actually killed a member of the MG before even making it into the building. And the MG actually doesn't have very good cover in that particular position, and it looks like the bar is actually firing on it. But he gets the Lieutenant out of there anyway because the combined firepower of those two Grens so is going to have to deal with a little bit of pressure coming in from the north as well. The utility car is hitting the field, and we do see an immediate armor skirt upgrade, which can be worth it up against Oster because one Panzerfaust hurts quite a lot if you don't have the armored skirts. And he's going to start doing a little bit of
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
to these grenadiers at range. Also getting him to waste a little bit of munitions on Panzerfaust. He'll be able to repair that quite easily. He won't be able to capitalize on that engine damage, so bit of a wasted Panzerfaust there. But more pressure coming through the north. Harassment taking back a little bit of territory, and After Effect is in quite a good position right now for victory points and resources. He has cut off his opponent, and he holds 2 victory points, which will give him some time to bring in stronger units. And we actually see a doctrine choice, close air support, so he will be possibly not actually going for fuel, but going for munitions in the long run and trying to use his plane abilities to take out enemy units, but we'll see what he decides to do. And Mirage still has not chosen a commander just yet. Utility car moving down through the bottom, trying to get some damage on those grenadiers. They are quite wounded and will decide to simply retreat. Utility car crew actually dismounts and begins capturing the fuel back. Meanwhile, a large force of riflemen is moving its way through the north. We do see 3 squads of riflemen and a lieutenant for Mirage FLA's core infantry build, and I'm thinking he will not be getting any further riflemen unless he needs to replace a lost squad. He's probably instead going to simply spend his manpower on officers and team weapons, or possibly further light vehicles, if I had to guess. But if we take a look at After Effect, we do see 4 grenadier squads as well as a machine gun. So I actually would not blame Mirage FLA if he got 1 more rifle squad, just to give him that little bit of extra edge in infantry combat and give him that 1 more squad that can flank around machine guns and such.
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
But we, at the same time, do see an ST KFZ 221 getting upgraded to a 222 right now, so he's definitely making that in response to the utility car, and we'll see if he's able to take it out. It can actually be a very close match between the two. Nice flank by that set of riflemen, taking out a full squad of grenadiers and forcing the machine gun to retreat, circling all the way around the north to pull that off, so that was very nice. However, the utility car does get caught, but it's not taking all that much damage, and I don't think he's going to be chasing. And he'll be able to repair that no problem. However, as far as veterancy, that burst alone almost managed to give him veterancy 1. The utility car still hasn't quite got vet 1 either. So I would say that that engagement didn't really go in anybody's favor, except of course up here, and Mirage FLA did take out a full grenadier squad, so good play there, and it looks like After Effect will immediately be replacing that. He does not want to suffer a weaker infantry game, it seems.
Pioneers! Our opponents are seizing a sector.
And we already see a redistribute resources, so 50 fuel converted to munitions already before he even has any call-ins other than a simple recon pass, which I believe is what he just used. 222 chases off some rear echelon troops up here. Lots of capping by Mirage FLA down here in the south. Very nice harassment, and we do see paratroopers, so it looks like he has gone airborne. And we do see paratrooper drop. So he actually is going to be bolstering his infantry forces significantly in that regard. And I would not be surprised to see an AT gun drop if he chooses to skip Captain entirely and simply go straight to Major, which I would expect given that he's chosen Airborne. That's one of the benefits of doing that, is that you can skip tech.
Good to go.
M20 mine going down here in the middle, more harassment going down in the south. We do see a bit of an engagement going on up here. Riflemen are holding up in the house. They will eventually get forced out through the combined firepower of the LMG-42 and the HMG-42. 222 also circling around, but it is somewhat in need of repairs. If we take a look at After Effects, his Pioneer squad is still somewhat far away from the 222, so it actually is in a somewhat risky position if it gets too close to, for example, a lieutenant. Could be bad. However, it does catch the ambulance, which could be bad news, taking heavy damage from the bar, and Thompson, though, decides not to pursue. Utility car actually pushing up as well. He may even chase. 50 cal on there could possibly take that 222 out if he gets a couple good bursts in, but he's not going to do that. So both players being very conservative, not doing any chasing. Getting quite close to that Grand Squad, and he wasn't watching, and the Grand Squad goes down to the burst fire from that bar, and Thompson on the lieutenant. Very nice. And the lieutenant does recover an LMG-42, so that's going to be a devastatingly powerful lieutenant squad now. Effective at short range combat with the Thompson, medium range combat with the bar, and long range with an LMG-42. Pack setting up, doesn't connect with that one shot. The smoke will also protect it from further shots, and he is backing off. 50 cal burst, hitting the 222. No, he actually gets out. He gets out trying to get a bazooka shot. I think that was a mistake, though. He needs to get that utility car out of there as soon as he can. Lieutenant does make it away with the LMG. Oh, we do see a 50 cal hitting the field, but it got immediately flanked by some very overextended grenadiers. Fortunately, nothing in the retreat path up here, so he will be able to get away fine, but that is a squad of paratroopers doing heavy damage at max range of their LMGs, and he doesn't get away. Wow, he retreated as soon as he probably noticed that, but he was just that little extra bit too late. Even at medium/long range, they were able to kill the full squad because of the red cover and the LMG upgrade. So 4 kills on that paratrooper squad already. That will put them well on their way to Vet 1. Very nice. And we actually have a teller mine going down right there, quite close to the M20 or the M6 anti-tank mine. So both players will need to be careful about driving around on this road. And I don't believe either player is going with a minesweeper upgrade either. Nope, no minesweeper here. No minesweeper on After Effects Pioneers. So neither of them knows about the other person's mine. Both placed in quite close proximity to each other. Rifleman moving up. Utility car moving up, getting dangerously close to that teller mine. Ooh, it will not hit it though, as it gets convinced to move back by that pack shot, taking heavy damage, forcing him to repair once again. Grenadiers continuing to harass in the top. More Grenadiers pushing in through the center / bottom. We do have a 50 cal getting in the church, but it's taking heavy damage from the 222. Paratroopers moving up, but they're going to take some heavy damage from all this stuff over here, especially the 222 as well, getting a lot of nice hits in. Paratroopers will be forced to retreat, but I think that they should be able to escape. Yes, they should be fine. 222 has had great field presence, inflicting a lot of damage, but also not quite being taken out. Rifleman being forced to retreat. So no rifle made there, although I think he was considering it. 50 cal taking heavy damage, but he does get it out just in time, and he will be able to retreat that as well. So this small Axis force is doing a good job holding the center, and Miragefla is going to have to regroup and think of a better approach. Better way to punch through the defenses. Utility car is repaired. Grenadiers also continuing to harass in the north. And Mirage's forces are getting healed and reinforced back to full in the base. And it looks like he's going to split himself up a little bit, sending a decent-sized force to the north, while sending his lieutenant, possibly some more riflemen, and this machine gun back to the south. We do see grenadiers taking up a position in this house, which gives very good vision and protection. And you will spot that utility car.
Upgrade complete. The enemy is attempting to steal our
And more teller mines going down over here. Nice placement for sure. And another one over there, so lots of munitions being spent on teller mines. He's definitely making good use of redistribute resources, even though he can't call in planes yet. Actually, he can bring in the anti-infantry strafe now, but he's actually only just barely unlocked that. So prior to being able to do that, still making good use of the munitions conversion to plant teller mines and set up for his opponent's assaults. These infantry get quickly suppressed by MG42 heavy machine gun over here. No use of armor-piercing rounds really was not necessary in that particular instance, I guess. And we actually have engine damage on the utility car. I think a Panzerfaust must have gotten fired, and the AT gun is just not quite able to angle itself correctly. However, the utility car is just barely still alive. But he is in a nasty position right here. He needs to make a full retreat. Oh, he actually put his crew right back inside at just the worst possible time as the pack fired. So that was a shame, and the AT gun also gets cleared, so that was a pretty bad engagement for Miragefla right there. Lost a lot of stuff. We do have an M8A1 howitzer motor carriage hitting the field though, so hopefully he'll be able to take advantage of that to punch some holes in his opponent's defenses. We do also have the lieutenant continuing to dominate the bottom portion of the map. M8A1 also begins to fire away at these grenadiers. No hits yet, though.
You guys, listen to me if you want to live.
Grenadiers also harassing in the south. And this is going to be quite a difficult wall now for Mirage to punch through.
Capture complete.
And at times like this, I might recommend grouping up a little bit more. You don't want to blob, because you don't want to get caught by one MG, but you do need to make sure all of your infantry are dedicated to the same push, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. Lots of infantry being sent through the middle, also probing through openings up here, taking heavy damage on his minesweeper, which he has upgraded. Hopefully he'll be sending that to the south. Paratroopers probably going to be able to beat those grenadiers though. Riflemen also pushing up. This pack is now largely unsupported, and this MG42 is not angled quite right for this particular series of pushes. And it won't even be able to catch any of these riflemen, it looks like. However, they have no response to the 222 either, except for rifle grenades. Then again, all of these squads are veteran, and he could possibly take that thing out with nothing but rifle grenades. One firing will hit the rear armor. There it goes. He may choose to do one more, and it is firing out of control, and the 222 goes down. So nice use of rifle grenades right there by those riflemen, definitely. And it looks like the 50 cal in the church has suppressed his machine gun, which will severely reduce its ability to fire, reduce its accuracy as well. And the machine gun also goes down. Strafing run does come in to suppress these riflemen, but the riflemen in the house are quite well protected, so very nice push by Mirage there. He's going to certainly be able to push back these pioneers with the M8A1, and I'm thinking that was definitely a win for the US. Meanwhile, in the south, the lieutenant also chased away a grenadier squad, so even in the south it looks like Mirage won that engagement. Won at all fronts. So very nice attack. Hopefully he'll be able to capitalize on that and get some territory taken up here in the north. Meanwhile, he does have a lot of reinforcement to do back at base. He also needs to get the south recaptured. He's only got one squad dedicated to that, and hopefully he will be sending that minesweeper down through the south to clear out some of those mines, because it only takes one teller mine to spell disaster for this howitzer motor carriage, which is actually quite close to a mine over there.
We're losing a capture point.
Counterattack coming in, after effect pushing it for the middle. Grenade goes out on the machine gun. One casualty inflicted, not all that impressive.
We're losing a capture point.
Lieutenant firing on some grenadiers, actually forcing yet another squad away, so doing a lot of really good work in the south there. Ooh, cover actually destroyed by the howitzer motor carriage.
The capture point is under attack.
Getting some good hits in. No casualties inflicted yet, but plenty of damage. And they're quite closely bunched, so it's only going to take a couple good shots to force that squad retreat. Yep, 2 down. Nice shot there. However, the pack and Panzerschrecks are getting rather close, so it will be forced to back off. And the Minesweeper actually does come through the south and does find 2 Teller mines and disables both of them. So lots of munitions wasted there by After Effect. What a shame that Minesweeper was able to do that.
Paratroopers ready for action.
Panzerschreck's moving up. We actually also see some kind of strafing run coming in. It's an anti-tank strafe. I think that howitzer motor carriage made it well clear of the zone. Yes, it did. So it should be fine. Bundle grenade goes out on the lieutenant. He's also surrounded by quite a few troops, so he will be forced away. Lots of reinforcement going on in the base. He really needs to get some of those troops healed up and back into the north to maintain his control over the map. And that's exactly what he's doing now. We also see an M36 hitting the field, tank destroyer. So that is a bit of an interesting move. He knows his opponent has gone something with a Stuka. He probably doesn't know for sure that it's close air support. He has seen anti-tank strafe though, so I think he actually does know that it's close air support, but he gets the Jackson anyway, despite not seeing any indication that his opponent is tier 2 or 3, so that may have been a bit of a mistake. He knows there's not going to be any call-in tanks. He knows that there's no medium armor. I don't know, I think that a Sherman would have served him much better. Because I think that this is mostly just going to sit in the back and do nothing. But we'll see what happens. Infantry moving through the south, and those Panzer Grenadiers really need to get out of there. We also see Vet 2 now on these paratroopers, so they're going to become very dangerous, and Vet 3 will make them some of the best infantry in the game. Lots of harassment going on the top as well from After Effects troops. So Mirage is going to need to mobilize to counter that as soon as possible. LMG on that lieutenant takes precedence now for whatever reason. After Effect actually steals the allied AT gun, so that could be dangerous. Lots of packs as well. Investing very heavily into packs. He's definitely not going to allow himself to get steamrolled by medium armor. More Teller mines going down. Hopefully he'll be able to protect them a little better this time. But who knows? Infantry moving up. The Grenadiers do have superior cover though. Looks like he's actually going to flank around the hedges, allowing his rear echelon troops to draw fire. Vet 3 now on these Grenadiers. Meanwhile over here, riflemen in this building are taking quite a bit of damage. They will need to retreat soon, I think. Lieutenant does force away that Grenadier squad despite taking heavy casualties himself. So hopefully Mirage will be able to retake a little bit of territory up there. Hopefully he'll also be able to deal with this harassing force down here. Lots of Grenadiers moving through, lots of LMG upgrades and veterancy on those, so they are actually quite dangerous. They will be able to push away this lone rifleman squad. That motor carriage will, the howitzer carriage will be moving up to try to support, but he retreats those riflemen anyway. Meanwhile, the wall is moving up slightly in the middle, although this 50 cal is actually going somewhere. Not sure what he's doing with that. Okay, he's covering this approach. Interesting. But as soon as he sees this, it looks like he will reposition to fire on these things. Yes, he will. Paratroopers also moving up. Paratroopers should be able to inflict quite nice damage. Grenade going out though. Doesn't actually do that much. Somewhat disappointing grenade. We actually have another anti-tank strafe coming in on something. Some stuff. Yes. But the motor carriage dodges it quite nicely. Can be a difficult ability to get anything out of, apparently, when firing at such agile targets. You'd think it might come in a little faster, considering. But I guess you just have to hope that your opponent's not paying any attention.
An enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
The anti-infantry strafe comes in, but it doesn't hit anything. That was a bit disappointing too. Grenade goes out on those Grenadiers. He does dodge it just in time, but it inflicts just enough damage to give those riflemen the edge. They are vet 3 and have double bars, so the Grenadiers are forced away. Meanwhile, Lieutenant will be able to retake some fuel up here, but it looks like this push in the south has given After Effects control of the cutoff and the fuel. Also sending a squad to retake some of the strategic points in the corners. We do see a fresh paratrooper squad hitting the field as well. Halfway to vet 3 on these. Still no use of the Jackson, unfortunately. See, built that a little prematurely, I think. And Mirage, now that he's dropped the second paratrooper squad, is quite strapped for manpower. LMG upgrade on these paratroopers as well. It's a shame not to see any Thompsons. Thompsons are quite nice now, especially on a map like this one. Our flanking is a little easier thanks to the square shape and the multitude of obstacles and hedges and buildings and things like that.
We're losing a capture point.
But regardless, he should be able to get a lot of good use out of those units. Howitzer motor carriage has actually been a little disappointing. He's not using it too aggressively because of the incredible amount of packs on the field. So he hasn't been able to net quite as many kills as he probably hoped. Pioneers continuing to harass up here, and it looks like the infantry were pushed back in the north by some Grenadiers. So After Effect is doing quite nicely, using nothing but veteran infantry. Which is actually surprising because usually the US should be able to win this type of infantry combat, but because so many resources have been spent on howitzer motor carriages, especially on this Jackson, and airborne, which are quite expensive, he doesn't have quite the field presence with his infantry that he could. He also is getting pushed back by machine guns quite effectively. He's only got 2 machine guns, other ones right here. So he should be able to have free reign of the north, really, if he moved up there with his paratroopers and so on. But he never moves in one giant push, at least not since his one successful push in the center. He keeps on splitting himself up. It looks like he's now regrouping for another solid, unified push, probably through the north. No, it looks like he's heading back towards the middle. And he actually has cleared a pack.
It is ours. Contact!
But it quickly gets remanned by some Pioneers. Paratroopers moving solo through the north. And they're actually going to lose this, I think. Haven't actually even really done any damage. I'm not sure he's actually watching this. Preoccupied with what he's dealing with down here in the south. Hopefully those paratroopers will get out of there alive. Only one man remaining. He does click retreat, and he does have a vision blocker. I'm not sure that's going to get away, though. LMG burst cuts him down and gives an LMG to the enemy, so that's disastrous. That was his Vet2 squad. That's definitely a shame that he threw that away. He's definitely going to suffer as a result of that. I'm not sure why he sent that up there alone. It looks like his opponent is not going to recover the dropped weapon now. He must not have noticed because it's behind this tree, so if he's using a default camera angle, he probably just doesn't even see that. We do have riflemen getting pushed back in the center by combined fire from Grenadiers. Axe. Ooh, Lieutenant takes out a full squad of Grenadiers over here that he was not watching, so at least he gets some retribution for his lost paratroopers. He also may have noticed that those mines were getting planted, but I'm not sure. Riflemen harassing in the south, which is somewhat unopposed now, so that's good. And this M8 actually gets taken down by pack fire. That is not good. Pretty poor shot from these M8s. Or pretty poor return on investment, I should say. They are not inflicting quite as much damage as Mirage was hoping. It looks like this one does have 11 kills, but it's been on the field for quite a long time. And the most important thing with these is to maintain vision. They have to be firing pretty much for all game long. Every second they spend not firing is them falling behind. And that's one of the reasons I actually don't like them that much. I like Shermans better, because these require, they're very micro-intensive for you to get the maximum possible benefit out of them.
Our opponents are seizing the sector. Grenade!
Ooh. Nice grenade from the lieutenant there. If he stops moving, an LMG burst could finish that squad. 50 cal also firing. He did not stop though, and he will be able to get away. I think if he had stopped and fired one burst, he might have been able to get it, but he's more concerned about retaking some ground. Cutoff once again taken by After Effects, spending pretty much the entire game working the cutoff, trying to keep the resources from coming into his opponent so that he doesn't have to fight too many tanks. And well prepared for tanks at the same time. 2 packs. I definitely think that just making one giant rifle blob actually would have worked a little better than what Mirage is doing here. As a lot of manpower has been invested into anti-tank, these Panzerschrecks and the packs. And he did drop paratroopers, so I'm actually kind of surprised that he's struggling this much, but now that he's lost a full paratrooper squad, and some of his pushes have failed. That was a Stuka bomb strike, I believe, taking out the house, but the machine gun did evacuate just in time. We actually see another engagement in here in the middle, and a grenade takes out a full Panzer Grenadier squad. He was forced to retreat by suppressing fire from the machine gun, unfortunately, but that did leave this pack rather exposed, at least briefly. This pack also taking damage from the motor carriage, this one also very low, so he runs the risk of losing those packs. Unfortunately for Mirage, there wouldn't really be much incentive for him to take those out. It would give his motor carriage a little bit more mobility. We actually see an AA half-track hitting the field, which is interesting. He is up against close air support, so I can definitely see it, but he will be forced to vet it up to vet 1 before he can put it in anti-aircraft mode, unfortunately. And that may prove difficult as he's up against quite a strong mid-game force. Heavy fire coming in on an MG42 in the middle, and it will be forced away. Oh geez, that paratrooper, he almost lost another paratrooper squad to Grenadiers up there. Good thing that made it away. I don't think he would have been able to afford another loss like that.
Let's get her going!
Strong force of infantry pushing right here. A lot of grenades getting thrown though. Lots of munitions being spent. Stuka strafing run coming in. Both squads pinned, but not before the machine gun decided to retreat. And he probably could have just left that machine gun there and blasted those riflemen down once they were pinned, especially with the help of these pioneers. But he opted not to do that. He pretty much needs to reinforce that thing anyway. I think he could have retreated a little bit later though if he wanted to inflict a little bit more manpower bleed, but that's not that big of a deal. Nice shot from the M8, 2 Grenadiers down. AA half-track also moving up, trying to vet up so it can get into anti-aircraft mode.
We've dropped to 100 points!
But the clock is ticking. We only see 100 points remaining for Mirage, and he is up against a strategy he probably has not encountered before, as it's quite unusual for an opponent to spend so much fuel on this munitions conversion. Take a look at After Effect. I'm not even sure if he's Battle Phase 2 yet. No, he's not, and that's 33 minutes into the game. No heavy tanks, no medium tanks, no tanks at all, no vehicles even, no half-tracks. He's playing with nothing but infantry. So his AT gun purchase was a little misguided. His Jackson purchase certainly hasn't done much of anything for him.
We have new resources available.
And that's one of the reasons I think that the Allies should and tend to tech proactively, whereas the Axis techs reactively. And you should only, I mean, getting a Jackson proactively, I guess that's what he did, but I just didn't. I don't know if there was a reason for it. The Sherman is more of a proactive unit, whereas a Jackson is more of a reactive unit. And he didn't get that in reaction to having actually seen any vehicles, so it's just not getting any benefit out of it. Big force moving up here. We're not moving up, but defending here in the center, so that's going to be difficult to take. We do see a smoke grenade, allowing these riflemen to capture the point, although for some reason he left the cover of the smoke to throw a grenade, actually. And it does take out 3 Panzer Grenadiers, but he won't be able to capture the point anymore. A half-trick also pushing in a little bit, trying to find a hole. Motor carriage should be able to fire from there once he has vision again. S-minefield here in the south, as well as some defending grenadiers. More grenadiers defending over here. So quite a line actually being set up. Should prove difficult for Mirage to punch through, and the clock is ticking. Some sort of bomb run. Where is that going to land? It's a little bit poorly aimed. It looks like it was aimed at the machine gun there. It didn't really do much. Oh, Packet's taken out by the 50 cal. Getting flanked by some grenadiers, though. I think it will go down. We also see an anti-infantry strafe coming in, pinning all of this. So Mirage just hurling infantry at the line is not working. He also is not doing much harassment here in the south. He needs to get those mines cleared with his minesweeper. Push through the south, focus more on the south victory point. He only has 70 points left now. Things are starting to look sort of grim. Nice series of Panzerschreck shots on the M8, and it needs to get out of there. That half-track is really exposing itself as well. Loss of damage, though, on those Panzer Grenadiers. I'm not sure if they'll make it away, but Pack misses 2 shots on the M8 somehow. Third one probably won't miss. Oh, but he pops smoke just in time, and a third shot does miss. Unbelievably. Oh, 2 Panzerschrecks fired from max range, both netting vet 3 on those Panzer Grenadiers. That is way over aggressive. Oh, jeez. He loses the M8 too. Max range. Actually, I don't even know how he hit that. He must have hit attack ground, and it fired well beyond its range, taking out the M8 due purely to like random chance, just from the scatter. Riflemen are quick to avenge its death, though. Clear the gun. May be able to deal some damage to this squad. I'm thinking a grenade's gonna get tossed. There it goes. It's well placed. 2 grenadiers down. And I actually think those grenadiers still could have won that, though. But they do retreat. And these Panzer Grenadiers actually should be able to force that rifleman squad away. Meanwhile, we do see some more harassment down in the south by both sides. Looks like this force should be able to push away these fresh paratroopers. Which will give control of the victory points back to After Effect, and will get the clock ticking in his favor once again. He does still have 300 points, so plenty of time. It will be very difficult for Mirage to come back from this situation. Especially now that he's lost so many vehicles. That really hurts. Lots of paratroopers on the field now, though. We do see a large focus on infantry. Stuka bomb run coming in, probably somewhere. Just aimed right on the victory point. Doesn't do much. Machine guns are both forced to retreat, though, by the overwhelming might of this infantry. So he should be able to take control of the central victory point. However, a infantry strafing run comes in, instantly pinning them and forcing them away immediately. Also suppressing these paratroopers, so we got a nice suppression effect out of that. And those grenadiers should be able to push back the lone squad of paratroopers, possibly not before they get the central victory point captured. Unfortunately, it looks like these points are also going to get captured. North will be taken by these Panzer Grenadiers. South has already been taken by the squad of Pioneers. And it looks like those paratroopers are forced away from the point before they can get it captured. Funnel grenade goes out, but it's somewhat poorly aimed. Nice Shrek snipe, though. And man, that lieutenant is getting such good mileage out of that LMG. Wow. Full Panzer Grenadier squad down. He will be able to recover the Panzer Shrek, possibly with these rear echelon troops. I don't know. Another bomb run going in on the point. I think that he doesn't notice it either. Here it comes. Oh, but the squad barely survives. Once again, it's aimed just a little off. So he will be able to retake that.
is attempting to steal our sector.
Lots of smoke. It's quite desperately trying to take this point at this point. The building's actually taking a lot of damage. Machine guns also moving up to protect. Unfortunately, they both face backwards, and that's a bug, actually. Sometimes the machine guns will just face backwards. I'm actually surprised that it happened twice in a row, though. It's usually very rare to see that happen, but yeah, that does happen sometimes for whatever reason. Lieutenant moving up as well. Paratroopers putting some pressure on those Pioneers. Not sure they'll make it away. Yes, they do escape. He needs to get control of the victory points, though. He's taking heavy damage. Grenade does not manage to clear the machine gun.
Sector secure.
We are close to victory. Press on. The enemy has 25 points remaining.
Things are looking pretty grim for the United States. He's had to spend a lot of manpower on reinforcing infantry, especially paratroopers. Very expensive. He's also lost quite a few vehicles. It looks like he is actually going for a Sherman finally, but I think that may prove to be too little too late. He does have a squad of paratroopers moving through the south to get the clock stopped, but there is an S-mine field. Oh, heavy damage. And it looks like Mirage is actually just going to throw out the GG, so that's going to conclude the game.
Tank support is here.
His M8s definitely did not perform well. His Jackson obviously did nothing. I think Sherman's would have been a better choice, but at the same time, his opponent was well prepared for medium armor with these packs. He also had a stolen American AT gun somewhere at some point, so that could have been challenging, and I think in the end, the infantry engagements just didn't quite go in Mirage's favor. Possibly if he had blobbed a little harder, gotten more bars, that sort of thing, set up better flanks, used smoke a little earlier against the machine guns, then things might have gone better. And he is actually talking about LMGs, and LMGs are great, as has been demonstrated multiple times in this game. But at the same time, I think throwing on one Thompson upgrade can be helpful, especially in the situation where his paratroopers were not paying attention to those Grenadiers and just walked by and then immediately died. If they had had Thompsons, they actually would have won that engagement, believe it or not. So, something to consider. Short-range infantry are definitely a lot easier to not have to pay close attention to. You can just sort of tell them to walk around capturing points. And that's why the Lieutenant squad makes a great capture squad. That's why Thompsons make good capture squads. So, some things to consider. I hope you enjoyed watching the game. And if you want me to do a cast of your game, feel free to send me the replay. I love to do that as well. And thanks for watching.